Stand by. In 3, 2, 1.
Reality. Are you living it?
You are a function of this total galaxy, bounded by the Milky Way, and that furthermore, this galaxy is a function of all other galaxies.
Our reality.
The show that will stretch your consciousness and awaken you to a world of unlimited possibilities. It's time to change the world. It's time for an awakening. It's time for Our Reality. Hosted by your emissary to planet Earth, Violeta Frankovic.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Our Reality, where every week we try to cover part and parcel of our reality that we're currently living in. The last few shows we were talking heavily about COVID and that situation, and I was mentioning quite a lot that I might be going to Hawaii or Mexico just to escape the Vegas, atmosphere for a while and the 5G challenges I was facing there. And I finally made it to Hawaii, so it was amazing. Today's guest, she's from Paris, France. She's in Paris, France. We're connecting with her, so we'll have her on in a second here. But so for me, that trip was finally made, and when I got to Hawaii, the National Guard was actually waiting for us in Honolulu, and we had to sign a form saying we will be quarantined for 14 days, or we face imprisonment or $5,000 fine. So I think I have like 9 more days left in quarantine, and then I can explore Hawaii. But yes, for me, it was a necessary evil. Maybe with the pressure of the current situation, everything that's happening, and my heart breaking when I saw all the casinos close and so on. So I needed a change. I'm going to introduce our guest, and as soon as she's online, we'll start talking to her. So Joanne Togati, she's originally from Brooklyn, New York. She's of Sicilian heritage, and her childhood was reminiscent of many first-generation Americans. She saw what it meant to build from the ground up, her father having come to America with only $25 in the 60s. He went on to grow a thriving business in food and real estate at the heart of all that was to come next in Joanne's education. These two fundamental passions would eventually take center stage in her life. Growing up, she helped her father in their Italian bakery. She learned accountability, hard work, and critical thinking skills at a young age. Her life is a colorful one, from scholarship vocal student at NYU, where she eventually invited to sing at the opera at the Met Chorus when she was 25, to organic farmer and inventor in Florida a decade later. Her life has been a colorful exploration. Oh, hi, Joanne, are you there?
I am there.
Hi. I am just reading your bio, so as soon as I'm welcome. I'm glad you're here with us.
Thank you, likewise.
Thank you very much. Almost finished. You have a very nice bio. So let's see here. Okay. All right. So here we are. She first matriculated at NYU, studying music and German language. She eventually graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature and went on to self-publish her first book, Running Loose, in 2012. She also was a recipient of the Academy of American Poet Awards in 2006. She currently holds a real estate license and works diligently with her sustainable development team in Florida to build and conceptualize sustainable homesteads with a permaculture foundation. In 2014, she built her first 1-acre organic farm in Florida and is now on to building her next. In 2016, Joanne developed an organic superfood formula that she started selling to her clients. All cases of healings were being reported, from the healing of eczema to shingles, granuloma, and more. She eventually healed the eczema of a doctor who put her in touch with the University of Miami's dermatology department, and she was given her first medical review. Joanne has also been a student of spiritual studies from the young age of 12, has her license in LMT, Reiki Master, Akashic record reader, and DNA Theta reprogrammer. She has taken courses in herbology and nutrition and practiced a raw food diet as a preventative to many of modern-day diseases to great success. Her fascination and desire for the truth has led her to see beyond the veil of illusion of our vast changing world. Wow, Joanne, that's impressive. Sounds like you're
It's
a
about
healer.
20 lives in one. 20 lives in one.
That's so true. Now, you're currently in Paris, France, right?
I am currently in Paris, France. Yes, actually, with my boyfriend Louis.
Huh?
He says hi. Yes,
Hello,
we are
hello, Louis.
recording.
How is it there with the situation going on?
We're still in quarantine, but there are flower shops open, pharmacies are open, supermarkets are open.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people, when they're getting let into supermarkets, they're standing 6 feet from each
Mm-hmm.
other. Not everybody has a mask on, but more and more people now are you can see they've had enough. Families are now in the parks. The streets are more crowded with cars. And their full opening is happening actually May 11th. They're opening the
Nice.
country.
The whole
Yeah.
country, they're not going to have phase 1, phase 2?
I'm not sure about this
Okay.
phase 1, phase 2. He doesn't really know. We haven't really heard about which.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. They're waiting on the government. Yeah, they don't know. It hasn't been spoken about like it is in America.
Got you. Yeah, we the CNN and Fox News keeps us pretty busy here.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but that's good. No, you being in this environment now and traveling during COVID, what is your opinion on the current situation? What's
Oh,
happening on Earth?
this is a wonderful story because I'm sure a lot of you guys were frightened too. I was actually really scared, thinking, "Oh my God, I hope I'm not going to contract something in the airport," with all these thoughts. And I went with my mask and some gloves, and I faced my fear. And the airport, as soon as I walked in, I realized, you know, I just got this feeling that everything was blown out of proportion. I looked around, people behind the desks were not wearing masks. The flight attendants were not wearing masks. Everybody just seemed calm. And you notice that the pilots and all of the flight attendants, no one was wearing any masks. And then something occurred to me that, wow, this might be really, being blown out of proportion. And my intuition started to
Mm-hmm.
kick in, and I lost the fear. And I was really, really happy that I took the opportunity to
To
fly
travel.
because we're getting a lot of false news, and we're getting things
Mm-hmm.
blown out of proportion unless you see it with your own eyes. So I do encourage everybody to go beyond what the
Yes.
media is saying.
I think you're so right, and thank you for saying that. Thank you for liberating people from fear, because we need that. And I would agree with you. Like, there was never better time to travel than now. Like, before you came on, I was telling the listeners about Hawaii. I mean, the airports weren't busy. Everybody was nice. Like, I definitely, thank God, didn't get sick. You didn't get sick. It was the best time to fly for me. Usually everything's busy. There's lines, and it was
Right.
amazing. And you're right. We're being lied to. And you were actually one of the first people I called when I was experiencing the 5G, and you believed me. And
Of
because you
course.
had a friend that went through the same thing. And where was she?
She was actually only 10 minutes from where I live in West Palm. She was in a part of Palm Beach, where a tower was very close to her apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned, I was nervous about 5G since they started building them. I basically researched it and understood that the non-ionizing radiation is actually harmful. I was reading all these reports. I forget if it's over 25,000 scientists, 25,000
Mm-hmm.
scientists worldwide have signed a petition to try to
Mm-hmm.
stop 5G from being implemented. And no one, they weren't listened to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, her name is April, and April also had the burning eyes,
Yes.
choke, couldn't sleep, smelled like metallic, tasted it on her tongue, almost could that strange taste she mentioned.
Just
And
like me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, she felt like she had to run out of her house.
Yes. Oh my God. When I heard you say that, I was like, oh my God, I'm not, crazy, because I was exactly feeling that. And I told my listeners the previous few shows, there was nights that I slept in my car because I couldn't sleep in my apartment. I went to the mountains and slept in my car in the middle of the night, and nobody would do that, leave the comfort of their bed if they weren't in danger. So it was nice to compare those. Like, you and I were literally comparing her symptoms to mine, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you were aware of this. And do you think it's a weaponized, like, it seems like they have two functions. One function is the cell phone tower, and the second function, there's a weaponized system that can be, those megahertz can be turned on higher, right? You've read a lot about it.
5G, what it was always used in military. They use it to disperse crowds, and once I heard that they were making 5G towers, and I already knew that they were implemented in, in the government. I just knew that was bad news for.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And people are feeling it. People are actually feeling it. And with the internet, we can have videos like yours, like April's. The thing is, what is it going to take? How many people need to recognize that these are indeed a danger? I mean, they are burning them in the UK. 50 towers on fire recently.
And they're censoring heavily. Like, they would have articles on Google that say, oh, due to conspiracy theories, these misinformed people are burning the towers. And I'm like, what kind of BS article is this? It's not misinformation. It's exactly what I've experienced it in my skin, on my, so it seems like censoring is going on heavily, right?
Well, they've had people have heard about Agenda 21, which is a depopulation agenda. And with the United States, they're a main player. Unfortunately, we are overtaken by a bunch of traitors in our United States government. So the more people are getting information and educating themselves on who these traitors actually are, first of all, we need to understand that, and then there is being a call of states to happen. To reform the government. So that's underway. That's been going on for 3 years. I just joined it. And, all these little steps that we're going to need to take, but taking them calmly is going to be important. Keeping a good energy, a smile, and just getting away from 5G. No.
And you're right, that's you're absolutely right, because that's what I ended up doing, and here I don't have any symptoms, Joanne. Like, I am a new person. I can think, my skin even cleared. Like, I feel like a totally new person. And I said to myself, wow, I felt like I'm dying, under those towers. I literally felt like my energy was low. I was always tired. And that is, like you said, a slow death almost, like, and here,
Well, they're not going to take an all-out war. They're doing it's subterfuge. They are the combination of vaccinations. By the way, they just double check this, but I was reading a report saying that those who have had the flu vaccine are 36% more likely to contract coronavirus. So we've got to really understand that all of these vaccinations, they might have started with good intentions, like a polio vaccination. But when there are certain people in government that are directly connected with eugenics programs, what is meant to help can become a weapon, can become weaponized. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing all of this stuff is becoming weaponized, and they're using it for destruction.
That's a great point. So it's like something, you take something harmless, like maybe a tower for cell phones, and you give it a double function, a tower for cell phones and a weaponized, almost like a Nikola Tesla microwaves. And then, like you said, the vaccine, something harmless meant to help, and then you make it weaponized by changing it to something harmful. Interesting. That is a great point, Joanne. Now, how is it in Paris? Do you see any significant differences in perception from the U.S.? Are they catching on to the whole one world domination game? Or
Well, I see too many people wearing masks. Now, when you're wearing a mask, you're actually blocking your oxygen, which is not a good thing. And these masks, a lot of the people, they're not masks that will prevent bacteria or viruses from passing through the material to begin with, right? So if you can smell, somebody, let's say like farting, like, hey, what else is getting in? Of course. So just a lot of these people are not even wearing a correct mask to begin with if they wanted to prevent that. No, I don't see enough people by the very nature of what we're dealing with. The best thing is to get plenty of oxygen, exercise, get sunlight, and boost your immune system.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'd encourage everybody to read up on how masks may actually increase your chances of getting the coronavirus. That's been interesting. There are articles circulating.
So it seems like misinformation after misinformation, panic in the media. It seems like we cannot trust them at all. Like people in charge of us, we cannot trust them.
No, absolutely not. I mean, when a lot of my family when I was younger, they got cancer. A lot of my family died when I was young, which sparked my interest in nutrition and health in general, and why these diseases were being created. So I started studying nutrition from a very young age, and implementing that information to build a great immune system. I know a lot of people are not thinking about that, but like at 15 years old, I was thinking, how do I build a great immune system? And I started studying things like chlorella, superfoods, certain mushrooms, and their connective ability within our own body structure. These mushrooms in nature, they are like they're a network that help each other communicate. It's like incredible what they do. So they enhance function in our own bodies as well. You could just read up on what those things do. Reishi, Meitake, Shiaga. And, I pretty much make sure that I'm on a greatly raw, meaning non-cooked diet. And the water as well. We know this. They've been putting fluoride in the water. So, of course, I have an RO system. I've got a reverse osmosis. I use Miracle water filtration, and it electrically enhances the water molecules to superhydrate our bodies, and it's anti-aging. So I'm researching what's not being talked about, because the government has an agenda to keep people sick with their medical cabal. They're not out there teaching people about health, nutrition, or, how to moderate or prevent their diseases. They're not teaching that. And we have to understand the agenda of this, this whole faction on the planet.
Yes,
and
the
I think
agenda is the agenda is a nefarious one. And thank you for I know you're going to show and share with us more how we can prepare both physically, mentally, and literally for these coming changes. Do you think we can do anything to stop this at all? To stop what's coming?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's going to have to be strategic.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest motto is learn how to keep calm.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to, you don't have to learn how to meditate necessarily, but you do have to learn how to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and breathe deeply and make a note every day that you're going to make decisions based from a clear and unemotional mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these things are important, but I mean, as far as what people should be doing, this is my advice:
Mm-hmm.
work within groups and create groups that are going to help each other. Whatever it is you guys are deciding to do, whether it's relocate, um, become your own autonomous economic structure, or just support each other's businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm going to be honest here. I've been a trooper for a very long time. I've been preparing for this. So
Mm-hmm.
I have 7 streams of income. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm 43 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw, based on, I guess, growing up as an immigrant as well, seeing that things were not the same for me as they were for people who were already in America, who had forgotten how hard it actually is to build yourself when you come to
Mm-hmm.
an place. We're basically all being asked to almost become new immigrants in our own land.
Wow.
Okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
we have to
Mm-hmm.
separate from this structure that's just become like a cancer. They want to
Mm-hmm.
infiltrate. They want to infiltrate everyone, vaccinate your babies. A baby's immune system isn't even mature or developed. And if you put a vaccine in a baby, oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, that
Oh
little
my
poor
goodness.
child is going to have an amazing shock reaction, and
Mm-hmm.
so much worse. So we know
That's a
this
great
autism.
point. Wow, that's a great point. That's a great view. Like, I really was feeling deeply what you said, and I really want to continue this. We will take a break shortly here, and then after that, I will let you speak because I like the way you're describing it. You're actually letting us guiding the way on how to deal with it emotionally and breath work and everything you suggested was amazing. Thank you. And we'll continue this right after the break, our dear listeners. Thank you so much, Joanne. We'll be right back, guys. Thank you.
And now, your emissary to planet Earth, the host of our reality, Violeta Frankovic.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our reality. We're here with Joanne Togati, and we had a really nice conversation during the break. Basically, Joanne was saying, we were saying people are in a state of fear and confusion, right, Joanne? And we need to learn how to become calm. Everybody's expecting this. If you can repeat a little bit of just what we talked about, I think that's so important what you said during the
Absolutely,
break.
no, absolutely. Probably the most important thing right now is to short circuit this mass fear that's come over everyone. I've experienced it. And my training as a meditation student, excuse me, I've been meditating my whole life. I never became a teacher necessarily, but
Mm-hmm.
I trained all of these techniques to go into theta brainwave or alpha brainwave, and
Mm-hmm.
to get out of the conscious brainwave, which is beta,
Mm-hmm.
when I need to get rid of anxiety or
Mm-hmm.
or get rid of confusion. Okay, and there are meditation techniques. Um, I can give my info later if anybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to
Sure.
look at them. But I use this every day to get into the theta brainwave,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where I can just short circuit out of this vibration. Okay, um, and yes, we need to be calm enough to imagine the life that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Collective imagination is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
They, if you go into some quantum theories, and all the talk about parallel realities and what that really is. Well, that really is our mind seeing another reality, and giving energy and putting in energy into that reality draws that reality into you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give an example. Even though all this is going on around me, as a realtor, I've attracted people, 3 clients who want to purchase land and do sustainable projects. And that's going to be a wonderful feeling. Even though all this other stuff is going on, we are at the same time, simultaneously, we're going to be building a new world, within this one. And that's essentially what must happen. So everybody needs to get into their best version. Yeah.
Yes, before the break, we were talking about how we felt like we woke up in a country we didn't grow up in, basically, right? So
yeah.
you were mentioning
Oh
we're immigrants to our own country.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's time to build a new world, and kind of. So now, I have to go back. Like you agree with these 5G towers going up? It's going to be difficult, but people are going to have to get out of the big cities, I feel. How do you feel about that?
Well, I've been preparing a long time for that. 5 years ago, I knew, I was urged to. I sold my place, and I got a place, in the country. And now I even have country land that I'm building a farm at. I think it's going to be, I think if you can be mobile as possible right now, and utilize the structures that exist, like Airbnb. Okay. If you can Airbnb your place and go to a place that you feel safe and you could start to build again, that's great. But I absolutely agree that, we're going to be, a lot of this, a lot of this damage is going to be happening. Like you see, the big cities, New York City, San Francisco. Yeah.
Why do I feel like it's hitting the U.S. extra hard? I feel like the U.S. is the target, like a special target. How do you feel about that?
Yes.
Are you seeing it everywhere, or do you agree that the U.S. is being hit?
The deep state, these people that are in collusion with the Zionist globalists that have hijacked our country, okay? They were very happy with their team, Obama and Hillary Clinton and George Bush. They were doing great. They were taking America down. They were destroying America from the inside out. Okay. By how? By selling our industry to the Chinese. How does a country taken over? They get taken over from the, okay. And China said they're going to destroy your economy. That's what China is out here. So we need to immediately not support China, close our borders to them, and bring industry back to the United States. Everything that has to be built overseas needs to be built on this soil. And I know that's what President Trump wants. And I know that he's doing that. And that's what the whole plan is. And we have our one last hope with President Trump, because he was not bought out like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and all of these other people, Dr. Fauci, Pelosi, Cuomo, all of them, all of them are in cahoots with Bill Gates, all of them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dr. Fauci, there was just a documentary that came out about him with Dr. Miskowitz. I don't know if you saw it, the lady that spoke out against Dr. Fauci. And it's a really great documentary. Yeah, I'm sure many people have seen it. If not, it's Dr. Miskowitz, and she's speaking out against Fauci and his nefarious agendas, and really in destroying our health, not keeping our health.
Well, and you know what? The health is in the gut, the biome, the actual, the gut's biome. When you destroy that, you destroy your health. And so what happens when you have these foods that are just destroying the bacteria in the stomach? It wreaks havoc. And if we can actually correct our biome, our health will come back to normal. So that's another key about health. If nobody's ever heard of the microbiome, I suggest you guys look into it, see what it is, and see what you need to do to have it healthy.
Now you're coming back to the U.S., right? You're coming back to West Palm Beach.
I am.
And you're gonna.
I'm building a farm. I'm building another 1 acre and a quarter organic farm, and I am partnering with some people who are building also organic restaurants in Miami. I'm going to be the supplier for my colleagues. You know, and also I'm an inventor of the superfood formula. At the time when I invented it, I was studying Polynesian synergistic trees and plants that are superfoods, like noni, for instance, that the Polynesians were using it for 2,000 years to almost ward off everything. It was their main medicinal plant. And so I've been studying herbs for over 20 years on my own, just autodidact. And I finally had the time to build like a little laboratory, and I was growing everything, and I was experimenting with different formulations. And I found a formula that I absolutely loved and started selling within the first week of creation with amazing results. Like one elderly woman, she had a very bad, like a red, irritated skin. I don't know what the actual diagnosis was, but after speaking to her, she said 95% of her problem went away within the first 3 days. Now, the difficulty, the fact is I'm not a millionaire and I'm not bought out. So I don't have a laboratory for somebody to take my substance and do like blind tests. All I know is that everybody that was using it was really benefiting, whether it cured their eczema, it treated their psoriasis, it healed their canker sores, it prevented their herpes outbreaks. So we're talking about viral STDs. It was used for people's skin. It's also it's amazing on skin, so it's an anti-ager. And I created a formula that it just did many, many things. And you could use it in about 20 different ways because it's organic. You know, it's not, and we don't do things like that anymore. Everything's processed in a factory, or, you know, the essence of plant is extracted. And I don't want to do that, and I'm never going to do that. The reason why, I'm not smarter than God, and I don't care how intelligent I could ever be and how much science I could ever study. I simply know that there is a divine intelligence in all of creation. And so I'm a little bit of on the intuitive side, this divine essence. You can't put an essence out of something. You can't extract the soul out of a human being like this AI wants to. You know, we're talking about, they don't want to leave nature alone. They don't want to honor nature. They want to control nature. And I want everybody to leave this with an understanding that fundamentally these people, right, who are no longer human, I don't consider them human, all right, because they have forgone humanity a long time ago. They're seeking to completely control, oppress, and have no they have no interest in the spiritual side of life at all.
No, that's good. You're really, no, you're making a lot of sense. Yes. That's horrible. That's almost like that Matrix movie where we're being controlled, and AI is running the world, and the world outside looks so dreadful and so like you said, forgone and forgotten, and so that's their mindset, I guess, huh?
That's their mindset. And when I saw that movie, I was happy at the time that I just saw it as a movie. I didn't think reality was like that. It did. And now I've taken, what is it, the red pill? I don't know.
Yeah.
Our reality, it is the Matrix. Yeah. And these people that are on top, this global elite, those are the controllers.
My God. We're really in the Matrix now.
We are.
And like
Yeah.
like we're fighting a war. Like this is like war. I mean, it's not like war with soldiers, but it's where we have to listen to people like you actually that are talking about being calm, getting into theta mind state, being careful of what you think about collectively,
Yes.
and
Yes.
getting healthy, right, Joanne? That's one of the weapons
Get
to use is
Throwing
getting
the junk
healthy.
food out. Don't drink soda. Don't support their companies. Don't drink Coca-Cola. It sounds American, but what has Coca-Cola done? But you know, I mean, it's a sugar company. I don't even want to go on about how sugar has completely polluted Lake Okeechobee, where I have land, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in, preserving, like preserving the earth, being an earth
Mm-hmm.
warden, and working
Yes.
with the earth. Let's work with the earth, okay? And if you guys can find jobs, or really say to yourself, if I didn't have to uh, work with this world, and I'm just on my own. I'm on my own. The government can't help me. This world doesn't exist. What would you go towards? What would you do?
Mm-hmm.
Would you grow your own food? Would you be a farmer? Would you build buildings? Would you
Mm-hmm.
make boats for? I'm talking about almost primitive, and we have to actually go back a little bit into the primitive world, but the primitive
Mm-hmm.
world was a world in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
not saying, hey, leave out the luxury that we've become accustomed to. We can still have luxury buildings, and this is what I do now, luxury buildings that can be sustainable, that do have water catchment, that
Mm-hmm.
do have other ways of generating electricity, or just by their own placement, that they save on whatever heating costs or cooling costs. So that's another thing I'm doing in Paris. I'm meeting with the owner of the company Solalea. They have a satellite office in Fort Lauderdale, and they have created a very intriguing design that is hurricane proof and
Mm-hmm.
earthquake proof.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm I'm feeling like we we start building sustainably, you can't go wrong. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sustainable living. So that's. But do you think that will be all over the earth, or mainly in the U.S.? I don't know why. Like I feel so sad for our country. I feel like really the U.S. is having the most impact
oh yeah,
of.
they want to, because they know that if the US falls, if they get
Mm-hmm.
control, then the world, that's it, it's over for the world, okay? The US is a superpower. And if
Mm-hmm.
they infiltrate it the way that they want, which is to put fear in all of the people, tell them to wear masks and have them feeling terrible. Wearing those masks makes you feel horrible, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it does.
We,
I know.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's
I can't
bizarre.
breathe with those masks on.
Yeah, you can't
Can't breathe.
breathe, and it's like, you're in an outside hospital, everything's sick now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, it's not. It's a psyop. And
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to know that it's a psyop. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and was this
True.
always being planned? Yes, this was always being planned. Start reading your
Mm-hmm.
history 100 years ago with John D. Rockefeller. Even before that, the Bilderberg Group, before that, they have infiltrated the United Nations. All of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff was all for the New World Order. They were, you know, all along they were here, okay? We just didn't
Mm-hmm.
get it smashed in our faces until President Trump took over, because they never assumed he could ever win. This wasn't part of the plan. So
Mm-hmm.
so now, hey, and me, as far as being a citizen,
Mm-hmm.
just a regular person like anyone else, I know that I can farm. We can all do that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest middle finger to, all these global corporations, these
Mm-hmm.
mono farms that have poisoned the soil, these just everything. So my whole thing is, let's get back to community. We're going to have to figure it out, because we don't have community anymore, and we're going to have to build it. And the best advice how to build it is find the people in your inner circle that are like you, that have some type of aspiration, and you guys can work together, because we have lost what it means to be in society.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We're all individualized, living our and
Yeah.
now, Joanne, that they're telling us to shelter in place. I was talking to a friend in Vegas yesterday, and she's like, "My friends don't even want to come over. They're sheltering in place. They're afraid they're gonna, get a
Wow.
disease. She wants to hang out with her friends. She misses her friends. She's a mother of a child, and she's like, I'm inviting them over. They don't want to come over, and that's sad. That's what they're doing to us. They're isolating us further from each other with this
I
lie,
see it
basically.
happened. I see that that's happened. If you come into my house, you're going to see all kinds of antivirals from the acupuncturist. You're going to see dandelion. You're going to see Shiaga mushroom complex, different mushroom complexes, licorice, adaptogens, and all kinds of herbs, superfoods, spirulina, which I take on a daily basis. Now, our immune system is fully equipped to handle viruses. Okay, it is fully equipped. All right, so everybody needs to understand that. Yeah, a very small percentage of the population may have complications, but by the way, they were killing people because they were putting them on ventilators, and that's exactly the opposite of what they needed to do for this virus. So nurses have come out and talked about that, crying that they saw patients being murdered right before their very eyes. By the way, I am psychic. Okay, I don't like to say
you are. Yeah.
Yes, right. But I'm an Akashic reader. I've been developing these abilities in myself. These are very real things that all human beings possess. Now, I was ahead of this from day one. I wrote it down. I said what this was. I was 100% right about this entire pandemic. And so I sit here without fear, because when you can trust yourself and your predictions so well, and you are right on the money, then that means, okay, I know something. I'm tapped in, and we have the ability to be tapped in to the super consciousness, or the higher soul, okay, like the oversoul. So that's what I teach. It will help people get rid of fear once they can tap into the oversoul. And I, at being a singer, all these things that I've done my whole life, frequency, I've studied frequency. And as you know, who's that great, I believe, I believe also Nikola Tesla worked with frequency. Rife. No, it was Rife, with the Rife machine. Frequency, when you tap into the right frequency, literally, illnesses burst. They vanish. Okay. I've experimented on myself, raising my frequency, doing like what's called Reiki healing, which just means you're in an alpha brainwave. Now, when you're switching between these brainwaves, you're opening the capacity of your mind. And that's not what people don't sit there and do that. But yes, I did that as a kid, and I did that growing up my whole entire life. And I was one of those energy healers. I'm one of the energy healers on the planet. Yeah. Now, none of this is frou-frou at all, and I like science more than anything. But these are just capabilities within the human being to raise our electrical vibration.
Yeah.
So that's important. That's important.
It's very important. No, I've gotten a Akashic reading from you yesterday, and believe me, it only occurred to me after I had it, because it was so deep. After I had it, I think I wrote you, or I don't know if I wrote you, or I was about to tell you that after the reading, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right about this and she's right about that. And you really tapped in deep, it was a deep reading. So what is the best way to get a hold of you? Would it be that Instagram page, Akashic Reader?
Yes, it is, exactly. The Instagram page, Akashic Reader. There's a link there. I'm going to be building my YouTube presence, because I think, as I told you, I was an opera singer from New York City, and I was a classically trained musician, conservatory trained musician. But I still, said to myself, once I saw the sob stories in music, I said, there's no way that's going to happen to me. There's no way I'm going to wind up. And I quickly went on to have, 6 other licenses and other things. And I said, That's nice. And look at what happened. All my musician friends, they're crying right now. It's very sad. So I just, again, having that extra sensory gift that I was given, that insight. Okay. That was more, I don't want to say given. I want to say it was more evolved because I evolved it. All right.
Yes.
I turned it on and I never turned it off. Like a lot of people that turn it off, they don't want to feel it or experience it. But
that's a good point.
Guess, everybody's got a sixth sense. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I just felt that, I also knew this was coming. I would get visions of, oh my gosh, there's going to be a time where I'm not going to wear that dress. There's going to be nowhere to wear that dress to.
Yeah.
But let's hold off on that for the moment too, because the next 2 years, by the way, we're going to see a lot of push and pull. And we're going to need these techniques during the next couple years for some of the stuff that they're going to try to be pulling. All right. And my thing is this, I'm in different groups and I'm also building a network of people that want to stay connected, and work on their super consciousness.
Got you. Really quick, because we're 1 minute to show close. When you get your YouTube channel, is it going to be Joanne Togati, or you don't know the name yet?
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's probably going to be that. It's going to be, it's, I already have my, it's going to say readings by, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give you that info, but yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Yep. So we're 30 seconds to show close. Joanne, I want to thank you for everything you've brought to us in a calm manner. Thank you. I guess the key is building yourself up so you can withstand this. If you want to know more about Joanne, you can go to our KCOR website. We have a site just about Joanne, and her social media links are there. So feel free to get in touch with her. Akashic reading, highly recommended. I experienced it. It's wonderful. It's brought me great insights. And Joanne, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for all your advice.
You've been listening to Our Reality, hosted by Violeta Frankovic. Live every Saturday from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. For more information on the host as well as the show, as well as upcoming guests, please check out our reality show page at kcorradio.com.
Our reality.
From the ordinary to the extraordinary, we've got you covered. Our reality, changing the world, one topic at a time. This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.